I have an approved transaction on my credit card. Let me check my email. I mean, maybe it takes a second for the email to come through.
60 pieces of froze. Just pick up or delivery.
I just had a question because I placed an order online, but I didn't get an email, so I just wanted to see if the order went through.
Yeah. What was the name?
It's for CJ.
Okay. Yeah. I don't have a order under that name. Are you sure it was this location?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay. I'll just double check online again. Am I out $45? A few weeks ago, one of my friends challenged me and another friend to order a pizza with code, and we were all tasked with doing it a different way. I specifically was tasked with doing it via reverse engineering. If you want to see how the others did it, you can go check out the video on the Syntax channel. But in this video, I'm going to show you my whole process. So everything that happened while I was trying to order a pizza with code. Hope you enjoy it. Here it is. All right, let's get into it. It is currently 3 p.m. my time. My hope is that I can finish this up within an hour or two so the pizza can be delivered by dinner time. And my plan is to order from a place called Sexy Pizza. They're a local Denver pizza restaurant. They have fantastic branding and a fantastic website. And I've ordered from them in the past, and usually their order flow is really clunky. It's like an old, almost seems like a ASP.NET based website or something like that. They've definitely got an upgrade on their site since the last time I saw them. But if I can figure out how to automate the ordering there, it would make my life easier because then I could just run a script to do it. So let's get into it. I'm going to do order now. And this is new. This is not their old ordering system. They're using Toast Tab. I don't know if this is all around the US or the world, but Toast is a company that creates those like point of sale systems that a lot of stores use. So they must have changed how they're doing things. Okay, that's fine. Now, my goal here is to reverse engineer how this site works. So what you can do is open up the DevTools and then head over to the network tab. We're going to keep an eye on absolutely everything that happens as we navigate around the site, and it's going to show us what endpoints they're potentially hitting. Right now I have it filtered to XHR, which is XML HTTP request, and so that'll show us what requests JavaScript is making, and ideally we can see the requests that actually happen to get the menu and stuff like that. So let's go to order online. Okay, immediately I am seeing some GraphQL endpoints. This is a decent sign because if you can figure out the GraphQL schema, it's trivial to just call their API directly with a GraphQL library. So that's great. And right now it has it for pickup. We want to do delivery, or at least try to do delivery. So let's confirm we're in delivery range. And we can see these requests happening. Now, I do have an ad blocker on, so where are these headed to? Yeah, Amplitude. I think it's some kind of like analytics service, so it's actually blocking those requests. Now, I'm going to put in an address that is not my address because I don't want you to know where I live. But this should pick the one that I am closest to. Yeah, I think I'm closest to the South Pearl one should be it. So we can see this GraphQL endpoint got hit. It was a post request. The request included a bunch of JSON, validate delivery distance. It included that address that I put in. And typically when you're looking in the network tab, you might see two. So this first one is the options request, which is just basically JavaScript making sure that it can call that endpoint. And then you see the actual post request itself. So I'm wondering if the locations data was actually in the page when it loaded, and that was from a different endpoint. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start over. We should see some GraphQL endpoints, and then I'm going to do a filter of these requests because I basically want to find the response that had the word Jefferson Park or Pearl Street inside of there to see if there's an endpoint I can hit to get those delivery locations. So in the DevTools, this search tab here lets you search the actual contents of each of these requests. So if I do Jefferson Park, let's see what it finds. Didn't find anything. What about Pearl Street? Nothing so far. Maybe that's because this wasn't XHR. Let's go down to all. Yeah, so I unfiltered XHR, did all. It's possible that they're server-side rendering some of this data. So this endpoint here, order.toast tab, this might be a server-side render that includes the data inside of it. Yeah, it is. See, this is a full-on HTML page, but it has an embedded JSON object. And inside of there is the list of locations. Okay. First of all, if we look at it, this is just a request to this page itself. So in the DevTools, if we right click the call that was made, I can do copy as fetch. That's going to give me an actual JavaScript fetch command that's against this endpoint. There was nothing in the request itself, but we should get back the HTML page, and then maybe we can extract out that JSON and then further use that to find the right delivery location. So that's the plan here. Let's start writing some code. I have this blank directory here, and I'm just going to set this up as a TypeScript project and use node.js to directly run those TypeScript files. And basically, we're just going to be running this directly from the command line. So we'll run it from the command line. It'll hit the endpoints, make all the requests it needs, and hopefully order us a pizza. So I'm going to get this all set up, and I'll check back in once I have a project ready to go. All right, now we're cooking. We're cooking. So basically what I had to do was open up the site in a private tab so that it wouldn't try to like infer my location. And that allowed me to see there's an actual GraphQL query for the restaurant locations. From there, I set up a function that calls that endpoint. And so all of the requests we're going to be making, as long as this is all GraphQL, are all going to be against this specific endpoint. And with GraphQL, you just send it a query that's in the GraphQL language. And you can see this is a query for the operation name restaurant locations. It's passing in all the restaurant GUIDs. So these are all, there's 4 sexy pizzas in Denver. Those are all their IDs. And then I extracted the query into its own file here. So we get some nice syntax highlighting with GraphQL. You can see that it's requesting the restaurants, it's specifying all the properties that we would want to get. And all of that is just a post request against this endpoint. And then when it's done, I wrote it to this file called restaurants.json. And now we have this nice JSON object that has all of the restaurants info. So all of this is working. I think the next thing I want to do is see if we can actually just get the GraphQL schema. Because if we have the GraphQL schema, we can actually just get type completion when we're querying the endpoint. So instead of having to inspect the traffic for this, we'd have the schema and we would know exactly what fields are available for the restaurant's endpoint. We'd know every single entity that's available. So I'm going to do some digging and see if I can actually find the schema, or better yet, even see if I can make a schema request against this endpoint. A lot of production GraphQL endpoints actually have schema disabled for like security reasons. But we might be able to find the schema in the source code of the web page, or maybe they didn't disable the schema endpoint. But that's my next goal, is I'm going to get that schema, and that's going to allow us to work a lot easier once we find these other endpoints that we need to work with. Okay, that was a path not worth going down because GraphQL introspection has been disabled. So essentially what I've done is I found an article that gave me a query I could use to send to the GraphQL server that would give us back all of the fields, the schemas, the types. But you can see the response here is introspection has been disabled. So we're just going to keep an eye on the network tab as we navigate the site, and that's going to allow us to find each of the endpoints and the types of queries that we're going to need to construct as we navigate the site. Another thing I'm going to do to make my code a little bit more usable is to wrap this fetch in a reusable function, because we're always sending the same headers and we're always hitting the same endpoint. So I'll have a reusable function for that. But now I'm just going to poke around the website and find all of the endpoints I need. So I'll need to get the specific restaurant. I'll need to get the menu. I'll need to specify the menu item. We'll need to add toppings, add to cart. I need to find all of those endpoints. So that's what I'm going to do now. Okay, we've made some progress, and I'm type safe as well. So I have this make request function. We could install like a GraphQL client library, but I'm not familiar enough with that. So I'm just doing it with API requests, which is totally fine. So this calls the endpoint, but it takes in this body and specifically a GraphQL file. So get restaurants will read in this query file, specifies all the fields that we want, makes the request. For now, I'm writing it to a JSON file, so it's easy to look at. So this is what we get back when we request all of the restaurants. And then from there, I need to pick the restaurant I want to order from, and I specifically want this one, Sexy Pizza South Pearl. So I have wrapped it all up into a function called order pizza. So get the restaurants, find the restaurant whose name is South Pearl, If you found it, now we're going to get the menus for that restaurant. So we have the GUID of the restaurant, and I can call get menus. This is another GraphQL query where we pass in that restaurant ID, and then our query asks for all the specific options that we need. So our function's looking pretty good, and we're type safe. So all of this stuff, I've actually extracted the types out into a file called types, and this is the actual typings of all the JSON data that I got back. So I'm using this extension called paste JSON as types. Basically, I'm getting the JSON, pasting it in, and now I can work with it in a type safe way. Did I need to do this? No, but it's nice. Okay, so we got the menu. Now I'm going to navigate on the site, figure out which menu item I want, figure out how to add it to the cart, and then I'll check back in. Now, the rules of this challenge say we can copy paste cookies and stuff like that, and session ID is technically like a cookie. So if I can get all of the data I need with just the session ID, great. Otherwise, we might have to go back to the beginning, and before we even start requesting all of this data, initialize some sort of session and then keep that session fresh as we're making these requests. But for now, I was able to make the request to grab the specific menu item details, and this is what happens on the website when you click on an item. So I'm going to be ordering an 18-inch cheese pizza. When I click that, that makes a request to get the menu item details. And from there, we can start adding toppings. And on that note, the data that we actually get back has all of the toppings. So it has like banana peppers and basil and black olives. So we have the IDs of all of the toppings. Now we'll have to figure out what the request is to add those toppings, replicate it on our side. It is easy. I mean, at this point, we're just copy pasting. It's just JSON values. The fact that they're using GraphQL makes it really nice for us because we didn't have to figure out some weird custom API. But at this point, it's just a matter of making these requests. So let's get this pizza going. And I am going to do vegan cheese because if you didn't know that about me, I like to I eat a vegan diet. So we're gonna do vegan cheese, vegan sausage, and sun-dried tomatoes. That's a perfect pizza. Also, I want to say no mozzarella because I'm adding the vegan cheese instead. And then I'll click add to cart. That makes a post request. This is going to be what we want to replicate. Let me get all of that going. One thing I'm using that I didn't show you earlier is when I copy the GraphQL queries from the actual network request, they have a bunch of escaped characters like escaped new lines and escaped quotes. So I'm just using this online tool that unescapes them and then makes it much easier to use them as actual JSON objects. Okay, so I think we're pretty close. Now, if you look at my add to cart function here, it just has all of the toppings and everything hard coded. I'm going to leave it this way. So technically I got the menu data, so I could actually go through and search for the menu item or the topping ID where the name is banana peppers or whatever. But that'd be a lot of work. And I think it's part of the rules are it's okay to copy the menu items. So this request here is my pizza that I want. It's an 18-inch cheese pizza. It has all of the IDs of the toppings, everything else, and then that adds it to the cart. Now, I already ran it, and it says that it worked. But because I'm using the same session ID, I'm very curious if we will have two pizzas in the cart. No, it only shows one. Yeah, it's a new session ID. Yeah, I guess because I'm not logging in, I'm basically just adding this to the cart of an ephemeral user. So I think I need to add it to the cart and check out all in one go. So that's the next step. So keep an eye on the network traffic. If we go to checkout, we'll need to enter in our details. Gonna leave a big tip. And I'm just gonna choose checkout as a guest because I don't want to have to log in. Let's see what happens. Yeah. Okay. What are these requests? Ooh. Get client token, promo offer, create payment intent. This is definitely something we're going to want to do. Um, create payment intent. It has the amount, reference IDs. Yeah, so this we're going to need to replicate. That creates the payment intent. I'm going to plug in a dummy card number and just see what the request is when I click place order, because that way I can replicate. Because I don't want to order it from the browser. I want to make sure I get all the network requests so that I can replicate them, and then we'll make the request. I'm gonna look up Stripe testing credit card numbers, and I'm gonna use that so it's at least a valid credit card number, and then it won't go through, but it is a valid credit card number, so it'll at least validate the form. We'll see the request that goes off, and that's the request that we need to replicate. Okay, so we've got the example endpoints. There's a couple of requests. One validates the cart. The next one updates the payment intent, which adds the tip amount. And then there is a request that's not to the GraphQL endpoint. This is actually just to a payments endpoint. And it passes in the payment method ID, which I'm guessing we get back after setting the payment intent. It does have a session secret. We're going to have to figure out where to get that. And then I'm assuming if the payment was successful, like if it was a legit credit card and everything, then this would come back with a success response. But in this case, the credit card wasn't real because I used an invalid one. This should be all we need. So I think what I need to figure out is how do we get that session secret and payment method ID? And not, I should be really close, really, really close. Okay. A little bit further, but I'm realizing we might actually just need to create an account and use that information because I don't think I'm going to be able to create the payment info purely with my codes here. So my code works right now. It gets the menu, it gets the items, it adds it to the cart, and it creates a payment intent. So the payment intent I got back says, hey, requires payment method. The next thing I would need to do is create a payment method. But looking at their API endpoints, there's some stuff going on. If we look at this post to payment method, so this is creating the payment method. And you can see the card data is this base64 encoding here, and there's also a key and a session secret. And I decoded the base64, and it's like binary data. So I don't know exactly what they're using for payment processor. Like it's possible this is Stripe, but it may be their own backend service that then integrates with Stripe. I don't want to reverse engineer all of that. So I'm going to create an account, log in, use that session ID, store my payment information because that's going to give me an actual payment ID. And then that's the payment ID I'll use because there's another request that is like update payment intent. And there we can pass in the payment ID. And that will be the thing that I've already saved to my account. That's the plan. So I'm going to create an account, get a session going, add my credit card, all that good stuff. That should give me a payment ID, and then I can use that payment ID to actually make the request. We have a major issue. I am logged in, but there is no way to add a payment method unless you actually check out with the restaurant. I guess I have to figure out how they're doing payment info. I mean, technically the source is available. This is going to be some more in-depth reverse engineering. Then we might have to actually look at the React code that they've written that creates the payment info and then use that. I'm going to look into this for like 10 minutes. If it doesn't work, we might have to just use a different pizza restaurant. But yeah, I'm going to look into it. Okay, quick update. There's some code in here that might work. So I'm in this Webpack stuff in source, components, online ordering. There's a payment context file. So this is a React context that handles all of the payment stuff. So I need to find what endpoints they're actually hitting to add that payment info. I haven't found it so far, but I mean, all the variables inside of here look pretty straightforward. Actually, it might be this SPI SDK. We'll figure out what SPI is. Maybe that's their payment provider. Because in here you can see we have like new credit card, set new credit card, once all this gets set, it's used internally to create the payment intent. Like there is a create payment intent. Like this is the exact same method that we've already replicated. But curious what this SPI SDK is. Because that might be like a Stripe-like provider. And then we can use their SDK to add a payment. So let me look into that. Ooh, encryption. Okay, let's see. My hunch was right. So SPI is some payment processing thing. So we have our credit card form, and then there's credit card form SPI. But so this is the file that I first saw the encryption stuff. Awesome, encryption. But it's embedding an iframe, which means we may not even have access to be able to call the endpoints. But what we could do is like spin up a simple web page that has the iframe. We put in our credit card info. That could save the payment ID, and then we use that in our CLI script. But then this one, create credit card form SPI, potentially might have some methods we can call. Yeah, I think this is what we need. But look at the clock. It's dinner time. I can't wait an hour for this pizza to be delivered, so I'm going to come back to this tomorrow. But we're on the right track. I think basically we just need to figure out how to add a payment method, get the payment ID, add the tip, submit the order, get the pizza. It sounds easy enough, I guess. But well, next time we'll have to look into this SPI SDK. Maybe there's some docs online for it, and we can just write some client-side code that creates a payment ID. Okay, that's it for today. We'll be back. Okay, I'm back. Last time, I couldn't figure out how to add payment via the API, but I had a stroke of genius when I woke up this morning. And my thought is, I actually have the ability to create temporary credit cards, and I can also set limits on those credit cards. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a fake order in the UI with one of those temporary credit cards that has a spending limit. So that should not go through, but it'll save that payment to my account. And then I can use that payment ID from my codes. That's the plan. So I'm going to go through the process of actually making an order, but when I get to checkout, it should fail with a real credit card number that's temporary. And then I'll go do it via the API. Also, I can't handle an 18-inch cheese pizza, so we're going to switch it up to a 12-inch cheese pizza. So I'm going to have to watch the network traffic to see the exact payload for a 12-inch pizza with vegan cheese, vegan sausage, sun-dried tomatoes, no mozzarella. And I'll grab that network request that has this specific pizza, do the checkout, get the payment ID, and then we're home free. So I'll check back in right before we place the order. Okay, moment of truth. I actually don't think this is going to work. There's multiple issues. First of all, I noticed that they're using two different authorization tokens, one for the payments API, one for GraphQL. I copied those values into my codes here, so it might work. I don't know. Second, adding the payment didn't actually work. Like, because the payment didn't go through, it didn't add that card to my account. But they did give me back a payment method ID. So I'm going to try to use that same one because I'm assuming that got created on the back end somewhere. So this is the moment of truth. We get the restaurants, pick our specific restaurant, we add our cheese pizza to the cart, create a payment intent, update that payment intent with a tip, and then confirm the order. If this works, I should get an email that says the order went through, and also we'll be able to take a look at the output data here. But all of our work comes down to this. I'm only giving this a 50% chance of working because, like I said, because of that authorization data. So let's give it a try. Unable to use payment method. The payment method cannot be used on this payment intent in its current state. Please verify the payment method was created or selected within this payment intent. And it wasn't, because I'm trying to use a payment intent that was created in the browser. Oh! I really didn't want to have to do this. But I actually do think it would be possible to create the payment intent via using their API. It should be possible. It's just going to take a lot more work. I'm going to try. So I'm going to reset the spending limit. Try to add it, keep track of the calls so I know how to create the payment intent so I can create a payment, or how to create the payment method. Yeah, so we made a lot of progress though. So like we literally got to the point where we're placing the order, but it's not accepting this payment ID because I have to actually create that payment method in this entire flow. So I'm going to try to do that. It's going to be a lot harder, but I'm basically going to try to replicate all of the calls that are going out to their payments endpoint to create that credit card in their system with a new payment method ID and then try to use it here. That's what I got to do. It's going to take a while, but that's what we're going to do. Okay, I noticed there were some secret values that I was getting back from creating the payment intent that I wasn't using. I was like using some hard coded values. So I've updated everything to use that. So basically, we create the payment intent that gives us back three different things. The payment intent has the actual ID of the thing, of the fact that we're going to pay, but the secret here is actually the authorization token that should be passed when creating a payment method. So I pass that token here and the session secret that got created here. So those two things I was not passing before. I was hard coding them. So ideally, those are now linked to me into this whole process. So that should be good. And then same thing, whenever we're actually confirming the order, we pass that token in that session secret along with it. I'm hoping this is going to work. Moment of truth. Here we go. I think it worked. I think it worked. Wait. Okay, so is this the payment information? No, yeah, I'm logging the confirmed order. Let's see. I have an approved transaction on my credit card. Let me check my email. Okay, I don't have an email yet. But my credit card got charged. So I guess I just wait for the pizza to show up. Maybe they'll call me? But they definitely charged my credit card. Here, I want to show you. Yeah, so my credit card got charged. Well, I guess autofocus is on, but my credit card got charged for $44 2 minutes ago. I mean, maybe it takes a second for the email to come through. I'm curious, is there one more endpoint I need to hit after confirming the order? Because this is only as far as I could get if the credit card was declined in the browser. Is my order just in limbo? I think I'm gonna call the pizza place. I think I'm gonna call it. But it worked. It worked. I mean, it looks like it worked. My credit card got charged, and the order seems to have gone through. Yeah. Okay. I'm gonna call the pizza place and see if they actually got my order, because it's not. I didn't get an email, but this is good. This is good.
Section pizza self throws is pickup or delivery?
I just had a question because I placed an order online, but I didn't get an email, so I just wanted to see if the order went through.
Yeah. What was the name?
It's for CJ.
DJ. Yeah, I don't have a order under that name. Are you sure it was this location?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Okay, I'll just double check online again.
Okay.
Thank you. Am I out $45? I don't know what to do. I think there's probably one more request that happens because the status says requires capture. So my guess is the payment succeeded. Now we need to link that payment to the order itself, but I don't know what request it needs to be made. So I think what I'm going to do is make a real order and capture that traffic and then do this again tomorrow, I guess. But at that point, I'll know what request to make. Man, I'm so close. And then also my credit card will probably be charged twice, and then I can just like refute that with Toast Tab or whatever their name is. I think that's what I have to do. If they didn't get my order, I'm just gonna have to place it again. Look at the full traffic. That's all I can do. That's all I can do. All right, watching the network traffic. Basically, we should see the request that goes to confirm, and then my guess is there's one more request after the confirmation that links it all together. But let's see. I'm gonna order myself a pizza the real way, but I'm gonna capture this network traffic, and then tomorrow we'll let the code do all the work. Okay, here we go. Okay, so the order went through, but let's see what happens. So this is the request to confirm the order. That's as far as we got in our code that reverse engineered it. But then there's one more post request that happens after it, and it is a place paid order. Oh! Okay, so I'm sure that this kind of links together the actual payment with the order itself. Man, okay. So here's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna copy this, and then tomorrow we can run my code and it'll just do it all by itself and I won't have to do it manually. Um, yeah, yeah. Okay, I got the email. There's a pizza coming to my house. We're all set up. So tomorrow, all I have to do is literally press enter and a pizza will be delivered to my house again. But I think that's okay. All right, I'll catch you tomorrow. Okay, it's a new day. Now we're gonna try to use the request that we copied. So in this method, I added a little bit of logging so we can see what's happening. So we're going to get the restaurant, add it to the cart, create the payment intent. And now because we have a saved payment method ID, I just have that saved in this info object. So we're not going to actually create the payment method this time. So we just have the payment method ID. We're going to update the payment method for this order, including a tip. We'll confirm the order. This is as far as we got last time. And then finally, we'll place the order. Now, one issue is I didn't copy the response that we got back from confirm order. And it's possible that we need the payment ID from that to place here. But I'm assuming right now that it's the same payment ID that we created, payment intent ID that we created earlier. So with all of that in place, this should work. Let's give it a try. Okay, it's adding it to the cart, creating the intent, updating the method, confirming the order. Place order failed. This is what I was worried about. We need to potentially the ID that we got back from confirm order. So I did save the response. Let me see if there's a different ID, and then we'll only execute place paid order, and that should link the payment. Okay, it looks like there was an error in updating the payment intent. It's possible that my payment method ID is not correct. I'm going to try re-adding the code that recreates the payment method ID. So this is what I commented out before. So we'll try to do it with this. This will potentially just create a duplicate credit card on my account. What I'm worried about is if it won't let me create a duplicate one. Yeah, okay, so there actually was no transaction. So it didn't even try to charge my credit card. We're just gonna try it again, but this time we will try to create a new payment method and see if it works. Well, let's try it one more time. Here we go. Okay, adding it to the cart, creating the intent, creating the payment method. That's taking longer than last time. This is good. Okay. Confirming order, confirmed the order, placed order failed. Let's see. Okay, so I got a charge on my credit card. It's possible, again, that this order ID didn't link up. So let me look at the responses again. So for confirm order, external reference ID, I think I need to use this ID. Let's try it. So all I'm going to do is only run the function that places the paid order. I'm just going to hard code everything, but the payment ID is going to be the confirmed order ID. Let's just try this. We have to do it really quick because it charged my credit card. Now it's just a matter of linking that charge from the credit card to the actual placed order. Okay, so we're not going to order the pizza. Now we're just going to try to directly place the order, and we're just going to hard code all this stuff. Okay, I've hard coded everything. Now it's just a matter of linking that payment to the order. So let's see if this payment ID is the right ID that we need. Let's try it. Place order failed. I need to find the right payment ID. Maybe it's this external reference ID. Let's try this one instead. Okay. Please work. Yes! Yes! I think that's it. I think it's it. Now we just have to see if I get an email. Let's see if I get an email. Yes! Yes! Online order receipt. here it is. The order came through. It's going to be delivered in about 50 minutes. We've got a vegan cheese, vegan sausage, sun-dried tomato, no mozzarella pizza with a $10 tip. The pizza's on its way, and we used code to get it. Awesome. Hello.
How's it going?
Good, how are you?
Good.
Cool, appreciate you.
Thank you. Have a good night.
You too. So I did it. I actually ordered a pizza with code and got to eat it, and it was awesome. So if you enjoyed that, let me know down in the comments. Also, if you maybe would have done it a different way, or you saw something that I did but that was wrong, let me know down in the comments as well. Again, if you want to check out how the others did it, go check out the video on the Syntax channel. That's all I got for you here. Wherever you are in the world, have a wonderful morning, afternoon, evening, or night. And until next time, here's this.